Okay, so here we are with factoring trinomials. Before we get to factoring, let's look at what happens when we multiply these two binomials together. So when we do x times x, we get x squared. Then x times 4 is 4x. 1 times x is 1x. 1 times 4 is 4. Then we combine like terms and we get x squared plus 5x plus 4. This is a trinomial. It says LC equals 1. Remember, LC is the leading coefficient once it is in standard form. So these are the ones that have a 1 out in front. They're trinomials with a 1 out front. So let's look at working backward here. So if we started with this trinomial, where did the x squared come from? It came from the x times x. The 4 came from the 1 times 4, and the 5x came from the 1x plus the 4x. Okay, so the factors 1 and 4 did two things. Made 1 times 4, which is the last number, and 1 plus 4, which was the middle number. So here are some things to look at when you're factoring. If the leading coefficient is 1, you're going to look for two numbers that multiply to give you c, which is that last number, that constant or the very last term of the trinomial, and they combine to give you b, the middle number. So the factors that you're looking for in this parentheses, this right here, have to do two things. They multiply to give you the last number, and they combine to give you the middle number. If c is positive, if that last number is positive, a couple things you can remember. You don't have to remember this, but it might help you. If the last number is positive, then the numbers add to give b, and they have the same sign as that middle term. If c is negative, the numbers subtract to give b, and the signs are going to be different. The bigger number has the same sign as b. So let's look at some problems here. All right, so x squared plus 7x plus 6. So we're going to end up with two binomials. One thing we know for sure, x squared, the only way to get that is x times x. But when we think about 6, we could do 1 times 6 or 2 times 3. So the numbers that go in here could be 1 and 6 or 2 and 3. In order to get this particular trinomial, the two numbers I put in there have to combine to give us 7. So the numbers that work are 1 and 6, or it could be 6 and 1. Since in order to multiply two numbers and get a positive 6, they have to be the same, and they're both the same as that middle term. So plus 1 and plus 6. There's a way you can check. You can multiply back out. X times x is x squared. X times 6 is 6x. 1 times x is 1x. 1 times 6 is 6. There you get the 7x. The really important part, or the hardest part, is making sure that those two in the middle combine correctly. So what I'm going to do with this lesson and the next lesson is I'm just going to check the inside and outside terms. So x times 6 and 1 times x. X times 6 is 6x, 1 times x is 1x. Both positive, so they both give you plus 7x, which is correct. So what that means is these are the factors of that trinomial. Okay, let's look at b. So we're going to end up with two binomials. X squared is x times x. 16, that could be 1 times 16, 2 times 8, or 4 times 4. Remember that the pair of numbers that you put in there have to not only multiply to give 16, but they have to combine to give 10. So the numbers that combine to give 10 are 2 and 8. 2 times 8 is 16, 2 plus 8 is 10. That means that they have the same sign as 10x. So plus and plus. And we can check 2x and 8x combine to give us 10x. So this right here does work. Now let me show you real quick in case you think, what about 1 and 16? They both multiply to give 16, but remember they also have to combine to give 10. So if I check this, that's 1x, and check that, that's 16x. If I combine those, I get 17x, and I'm looking for 10x, so that doesn't work. Okay, start off two binomials. P squared is p times p. There's only one way to multiply and get 2, and that's 1 times 2. This means that they have the same sign as negative 3p, so they're both negative. And you can check negative 1p and negative 2p combine to give negative 3p. Okay, so look at D and E, a little bit different. They're almost exactly the same. V squared is V times V, and 24 could be 1 times 24, 2 times 12, 3 times 8, or 4 times 6. So we need them to combine to give 10V. 4 and 6 combine to give 10V. But look, 2 and 12 could also combine to give 10V if 2 was negative and 12 was positive. But in order to multiply and get a positive 24, the signs have to be the same. So it has to be 4 and 6, and they're both plus. The key to doing this factoring correctly is in this checking right here that I'm doing. So E looks almost the same. 24, we don't have to rewrite them, we've got them up here. Now we want the ones that combine to give 11, and that's going to be 3 and 8. And those signs are both the same, and they're both positive. The key is in the checking, though. If you're not sure, now notice A through E all had the last number positive. Now we're going to look at what happens when the last number is negative. So it starts off the same way. A squared is A times A, and we want the same numbers. We got 24, 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. Last time we used 4 and 6 because the numbers, that last sign was positive and the signs had to be the same. But since that last number is negative, that means the signs have to be different. And the middle sign goes with the bigger number. So I can go through here and I can make all these bigger numbers have that negative sign. So the one that gives me a negative 10 in the middle is positive 2 and negative 10. Nope, sorry, negative 12. And here again we can check. Positive 2 times A is 2A. A times negative 12 is negative 12A. And those combine to give me negative 10A. That checking will allow you to see if you've got your signs correct or incorrect. G, negative 4, it could be 4 could be 2 and 2 or 1 and 4. Since that last number, since that 4 is negative, that means the signs are going to be different and the bigger number is going to have a positive sign. So it doesn't matter on this 2 and 2, but here it's 1 and negative 4, and that, negative 1 and positive 4. Because the 3 is positive. So negative 1 and positive 4. Checking. Got negative 1q and positive 4q. When I put those together, I get positive 3q. Okay. H, R, R, and 18, 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6. Okay. 2 and 9 are the only ones that could possibly get us a 7. So it's going to be 2 and 9. Since that 18 is negative, that means the middle sign goes with the bigger number. So it's positive 9 and negative 2. That's negative 2R and positive 9R. When I put those together, I get positive 7R. We have X and X. 63, you got 1 and 63. 2 won't go into it. 3 and 21. 4 won't, 5 won't, 6 won't, 7 will. 7 and 9. 13 won't, but right here we've got it. Okay, so 7 and 9. Signs are different because that 63 is negative. The positive with the 2 goes with the bigger number. Double check. That's negative 7x and positive 9x, which gives positive 2x. So that is the correct answer.